What up YouTube, I'm back with another episode review of Jujutsu Kaisen, and it was a great episode, man. There's a lot of things that happened in this week's episode that was great, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's my favorite episode of this new arc so far, because of all of the things that happened. First of all, this episode started with a bang. It basically started in the middle of the Fushiguro versus Kamo fight, which was impressive because the animation for the arrows that were following Fushiguro, I think, was really well done. One of the things that Mappa has done well is the animation during fights, the way that they move the camera, or the fictional camera, and everything. I think they're doing really well. And we also learned, a few things about Fushiguro and Kamo. One of the things that we learned about Kamo is that he uses a curse power called blood manipulation. It's a technique that manipulates one's blood and object imbued with it, which is pretty cool. We've seen that kind of power in other animes and other shows, but I really like the way that he used it in this week's episode. I think it's one of the best powers that we've seen yet in the Jujutsu Kaisen series. Then we learned a little bit more about Fushiguro from Kamo. We learned that he uses the 10 Shadows technique, one of the Zenin clan hereditary technique. It basically creates 10 types of Shikigami using shadows as its medium. So we've already seen Fushiguro use this type of Shikigami, in this week's episode and in other episodes that we've seen Fushiguro fight, so we've seen multiple type of Shikigami that he's been using since the first episode, basically, so it's been really cool, to learn about his techniques and where it comes from. It was supposed to be a technique that Maki and Mai was supposed to, learn, but because they don't have an infinity for curses and curse energy, they can't, so I thought it was pretty cool to learn about in this week's episode. But yeah, in general, it was a really good fight. Obviously it wasn't the end of the fight, it was only the beginning, but I really liked the way that they started the episode. They went straight into the action between Fushiguro and Kamo, so I really like the way that it started. I really like the way that they explained the powers, the curse power that Kamo and Fushiguro uses, and obviously I really like the way that Kamo uses his curse technique. It's really unique in this show especially, but the way that he uses compared to the way that other blood manipulation people uses it in other shows, so I thought that it was really well done. The funniest part of the episode for me is when Miwa was standing in the middle of the forest doing nothing because she just got beat by Maki, and then Maki stole her sword, so she was basically useless. So that was pretty funny how she reacted to that. She even called herself useless, so it was really funny. But then she answered a call from Mekamaru, but it was actually Inomaki, and then he just said sleep and she fell asleep. So it was a really funny moment, a really funny scene to me, in this week's episode. It was just hilarious, so yeah, man, it was one of my favorite scenes of the episode, but also the funniest one to me. Now let's talk about the mini flashback that we got between Kamo and Principal Gakuganji, because we all know that at the beginning of this arc, the principal asked and ordered his students to kill Itadori because he's the vessel of Sukuna. But if that didn't work, he had another plan where there was a semi-first grade that was programmed to kill Itadori during the group battle, which is kind of crazy that the principal really wants to kill Itadori because he's so scared of Sukuna, so yeah, man, it was kind of crazy to learn all of that. It's crazy that there was a curse pretty much programmed to kill Itadori. I didn't know that they would be able to do something like that. It's something new that we've learned in this week's episode, but yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyway, some of the other things that we learned about Fushiguro and Kamo during this fight was about the people that they love. We've already seen this lady right there while Fushiguro was fighting Sukuna a while back. I think she's in a coma or something like that. I don't really know why. I don't know who she is to Fushiguro, but it seems like it's someone that he loves. Maybe it's his mother, maybe his sister, or maybe a girlfriend. I'm not really sure, but I can't wait to know what's going on with that. And then with Kamo, it seems like his mother is hated by his family, and that's why he wants to become the head of his family so that she can't be discriminated about again, So I really like that we got some backstory about that from Kamo's standpoint, and then I really want to learn more about Fushiguro and his past, because he's from the same clan as Maki and Mai, but compared to these two, he's actually able to use curse energy well, So that's something that I really want to know more about Fushiguro and what's his past, what's going on with this lady that he thinks about all the time, So yeah, man, that's gonna be interesting. But one of the things that I'm not sure I talked about yet is that it would have been really cool if Maki and Mai would have been able to use curse energy that well, so that they could use Shikigami and the 10 shadows technique. It would have been so nice because Maki is already really strong, and if she had Shikigami with her too, it would have been OP, man. She would have been really good. I'm not saying that Maki isn't strong, because obviously she's really good, but if she had curse power with the 10 shadows Shikigami technique, it would have been OP, man. She would have been even better. That's all I'm saying. But the rest of the fight between Fushiguro and Kamo was amazing, because we saw how Fushiguro used a Shikigami that he hadn't used before. It was this pink elephant that could throw water at people, and he did that to Kamo, and then used one of his other Shikigami that used lightning. I think it was the Nue or something like that. It was pretty impressive. His technique that he used water and lightning on Kamo was really good technique and really smart of him to use, So it was pretty cool. I think that he can't really use this elephant Shikigami a lot because it takes a lot of his curse energy. But yeah, man, that fight in general was really cool, but it was interrupted by another curse that we need to talk about. But before I talk about that, the way that it was interrupted, their fight was interrupted, was really cool, because it was basically their friend, not their friend, but one of Fushiguro's classmates that interrupted their fight by saying run. It was Imunaki, I think that's how you say his name, but he basically said run, and they ran because of what was happening. It seemed like Inumaki was fighting a curse by himself for a while, but then he ran because he wasn't strong enough, and then he just said run, and they ran. So I thought that scene was really well done. The way that the fight was interrupted by him and everything, I think it was really well done. There's so many things that happen right after another at the end of the episode. It's crazy. It went from Kamo versus Fushiguro fight, from Kamo, Fushiguro, and Inumaki running from a curse. Then there was a veil created that only Gojo Sensei couldn't really enter, which was pretty impressive that something like that could happen. Everybody could enter the veil except Gojo Sensei, so that was kind of crazy. And yeah, there's just a lot that happened at the end of the episode, and that's why I really can't wait for next week's episode, because it went from a fighting tournament to surviving in an instant. So it was crazy, man. So it seems like Gojo Sensei will not fight in this arc, which it's I would have wanted him to fight in this arc because he's one of the best characters in this show, but it seems that we will not see him fight. I think we'll see him fight more in the future of this series, so I'm not gonna cry about it, but it would have been cool. But the one that created the veil was this dude right here. It seems like he actually wanted to create the veil so that only Gojo Sensei would be able to enter it, but he was tricked by a curse, and that curse obviously was Mahito. He's the one behind that attack. And then we also saw the old dude, Principal Gakuganji, prepare to fight with electric guitar, which is interesting. I can't wait to see that fight because he's probably really strong, so we'll have to see how strong he actually is, but I can't wait to see that. But yeah, man, there's so much that happened at the end of the episode that we need to talk about. Obviously the review is not over yet because of what happened at the end of it, but it was just crazy, the sequences after another that happened, man. The way that all the chaos started, in this episode really reminded me a lot of the Chunin exam in Naruto Part 1, and then Boruto. You know, it reminded me a lot of that, the way that it just all went to hell, you know. But obviously there was another curse, one of the curses that attacked Gojo Sensei a few episodes back, you know, was there, and that curse is really strong. It's actually the curse that killed the semi first grade curse that was supposed to kill Itadori, you know, so it killed that curse pretty easily. So I'm guessing that this curse that was fighting Fushiguro, Inumaki, and Kamo is a special grade curse, you know. So the curse actually looks really strong. It looks pretty similar to the curse that Itadori and Fushiguro kind of fought, you know, in the first few episodes of the series, you know. But it looks really strong, man. I can't lie, it looks pretty good too. But one of the things that I like from this mini fight that we got, you know, at the end of the episode with this curse is the sword that Fushiguro had. You know, the black sword looked amazing. The sword actually did nothing to the curse, but it still looks amazing, man. I can't wait to see how much more he uses that sword. I don't know where it was and when he actually took it. Maybe it's a shadow sword, you know, that he uses. Maybe it's a technique that only the Zenin clan can use. I don't know, but it looks awesome, man. I can't wait to see him fight with it. But yeah, man, like I said, it didn't do anything to the curse. Even, you know, the blood manipulation technique that Kamo used did nothing. The only thing that affected the curse was Inumaki saying to not move or something like that with his curse technique. So he's the only one that actually did something to that curse, you know. So yeah, man, the end of the episode was crazy. Even the curse was talking kind of nonsense at the end of the episode, saying that the humans need to die and that they can't really, you know, they have to be exterminated or something like that because they can't really live with the curses and everything. So it's crazy, man. This curse is actually intelligent. It was talking and we couldn't understand at some point, and then he was able to make Fushiguro, Kamo, and Inumaki understand him, you know. So it was kind of crazy. But yeah, man, it was a great episode. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I do Jujutsu Kaisen reviews every Friday, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like One Piece reviews on Saturdays, Boruto Naruto Next Generation reviews on Sunday mornings, Attack on Titan the final season on Sundays, Black Clover on Tuesdays, The Promised Neverland and Dr. Stone reviews on Thursdays. So stay tuned for all of that. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot. And follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram, man. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.